Hello and welcome to Beyond the GPA's video series, Preparing to Launch. I'm Anna Maria Wenner.
And I'm Maura Mulligan.
And today we're going to talk about intrinsic motivation. And that is a big term for, are you going to college for the right reasons? And Maura has some great pointers on this topic. So Maura, I'm handing it off to you.
Thanks, Anna Maria. Intrinsic motivation. This is such a challenging topic, but I think it's so important. You having worked in college for a long time, we see every year students who get there and they are struggling academically, and sitting and talking with them, it often becomes clear they're not exactly sure why they're there or how they got there. And that's really a challenge. And I think that's the way our US system is set up for, many of our students, where I go to high school and people start talking about college and honors and AP classes. And I start applying because that's what everyone else is doing. And oftentimes students don't take time to reflect. Am I ready to go to college? Do I want to go to college? I may want to go to college because it sounds really fun. I'm not quite sure I want to do all that work. And so for many students, I think that, taking time to reflect on what the college experience means is so important. And one of the things I like to really have students think about is, thinking about college very similar to a wedding. And I think that happens so often that, people get engaged and they're excited for their wedding day, and they do all this planning as though that's the end and that's the beginning of marriage. And the same can be true for college. I think oftentimes at the high school level, students are very involved in, SAT scores and getting essays and applying to schools and getting into schools, as though getting into college is the end goal. And just like a wedding, it's not. It's the beginning of multiple years of college. And I think it's just really important for students to reflect on, and they don't often get to do that. And so when we say intrinsic motivation, what does that mean? And it's really about students having the maturity and understanding of the independence and work that comes from college, and being able and ready to do that work without a caregiver prompting them and reminding them to get do their work, or waking them up in the morning. Not that college is, no matter how motivated you are, there are times when people may struggle with their work and getting that done. But I think when students get there and they are not really feeling sure about that decision to begin with, it gets incredibly challenging very fast during the semester when things get hard, if they're not really sure exactly why they're there in the first place. So, that's a hard thing to know, especially at 17 or 18, but really is a good conversation to families to have, even that senior year as you're applying. And just because you get into a college, if you're sort of feeling not ready to go yet, colleges let you defer. That's really important to remember, that you usually can defer if you need to. Is a gap year important? Or maybe they're ready to go and just need, to be thinking about, how am I going to be successful when I get there, right? Like, if I struggle on my own, what are the resources and supports when I'm there to sort of help me with that piece? So just really important for families to take time and make sure that students aren't suddenly on this track if they're not ready to be there. And we often have seen students, get to a school and not be ready, or it's the wrong major, or they're not ready to be there, and they're able to take time and reflect on that. Sometimes they take a semester off, sometimes they change majors, and all those things are okay. And I think it's so important for us to give our young people that permission, that if they are making a different choice or they need to change their decision, it's not the end of the world. We all know that with the privilege of time, and getting older, we've kind of learned that for ourselves. But being able to have our young people also recognize that is so important. So if anything I've talked about today is hitting home a little bit of, oops, maybe we haven't really done enough of that reflection at home, please reach out to us to continue the conversation and dig a little bit deeper into that preparedness for school and the readiness to take on the real significant workload that comes with starting college. So thank you for joining us today.